If I wanted like the key accessory kit, like what's the stuff that I might want to get in?
The thing that I would suggest to everybody is to get an off-camera flash, which attaches just to the top of your camera right here. And what you want to do when you're taking the flash is try to avoid shooting it directly into the object that you're taking a picture of. And you can get different devices that will allow you to disperse the light, or most of these have like a little card that comes up like this. And what this does is instead of the light just coming out, it bounces off this and gives you a softer kind of a light rather than a real harsh shadow on the individual. So there are a lot of things that you can do with the flash. There's a lot to learn with it. But I'd probably go with the flash next. And then maybe a filter. Filters are something we haven't really talked about.
Yeah, now you can manipulate a photo so much now when you're done digitally.
Photoshop or
Do you still need filters?
Yeah, the filter that I would recommend...
I remember I had a skylight filter when I was shooting film. That was the first thing I got.
Right, and everybody should have, on each one of my lenses, this one doesn't have it because I was doing something with it the other day, but on my other lenses, I have a UV filter that really protects the lens. They're relatively inexpensive, but every one of your lenses should have one of these filters on it. In addition to that, if you were to get just one other lens, the lens that I would get is a polarizer, circular polarizer. And what this does is when you put this on your camera, when you're looking through it, it twists. The outer ring twists, and when you twist it and you're looking up at the sky, you'll see that the color of the sky changes, and that's where you get the really deep blues. If you're taking pictures of water, you can where you normally might have a reflection, it'll kill the reflection of the water so you can see right through it. If you go out into a forest and you have a lot of wet leaves and things like that, you don't see it yourself, but there's a lot of blue that's being reflected from the sky on those wet leaves, and the polarizer will help cut that, and it changes dramatically the way the image will look.
So it does what polarizing sunglasses.
By polarizing sunglasses, if you have polarizing sunglasses, it does that, but just kind of to the 10th power. It just does a great job with it. So that would be one thing that I'd recommend as well. So
when you go out shooting, Eric, are there any favorite spots in Rockville that you like to go to?
Well,
for nature or for people or.
Well, one of my favorite spots is my backyard, and I think everybody has the opportunity in their homes and in their yards to get a lot of great shots. And if I were to recommend anything to budding photographers out there, is just go out there and look for those situations where you can get a nice shot, a nice something that appeals to you, and take that. If you don't have a yard, or you don't have the type of things in your yard that you want to shoot, there's so many parks in Rockville. Downtown Rockville, I think, is just phenomenal in terms of different places you can go to. The Red Brick Courthouse, anything down in Town Square. People, if you like any of the street photography where you're taking shots of people and interactions and things like that, you just got great opportunities in downtown Rockville. So, and the parks. I love Nelson Park, Welsh Park. I don't even know what this park is called, but along Nelson there's a spot where the beavers have they took down a bunch of trees and
there's a nature preserve. Yeah.
Well, it's just a great area, and there's just so many different opportunities to get some great shots. So
now we talked before about you said that really the main difference with digital photography is that you can see the results right away.
Right.
Are there any techniques that are different with digital photography? Like for someone who learned on film, is there anything different they need to keep in mind when they're using digital? What was the learning curve for you?
The learning curve was pretty quick because you've got the same settings. You've got aperture, which controls how wide and how open the lens is. You have your shutter speed, which controls how fast the shutter is opening, and then you have your ISO, which is the electronic equivalent of what that film speed was. If you saw ISO or ASA, a lot of times we had 100 speed film, 400 speed film.
I remember well.
And then whoa, they had 1,000 speed film. Well, now these cameras are able to go up to ISOs of like 64,000 or something crazy. 64, I don't know what it is, but it has some incredible capabilities that we never had with film photography. So I think the learning curve comes from, I guess with film, I never really understood the interactions between those three things. I understood it conceptually, but really didn't understand how it impacted the photo. My learning curve came from really understanding now how I can control and manipulate the way a photograph is going to look based on how I set the camera settings.
And I guess that really is because of the immediate feedback. You try something and you see it.
The immediate feedback, I do a lot of reading of how people take photographs. There are a lot of great sites out there. Flickr, for example. If you haven't been to flickr.com, FLICKR.com, if you go there, any photograph that you go to, you can go down, you can click on more properties, you can see exactly how that photographer took that photograph. Did they overexpose it, underexpose it, what were their aperture settings, how fast was the shutter speed, and just kind of gives you an idea of what they did. So for example, I was taking some shots of my daughter at track practice, and I would follow her, and I wanted to get sort of that blurred look that when you're running, you want that kind of a blurred look. And typically, if you just put on automatic or program or something like that, it's going to fire off an image that's going to freeze the action, which I didn't want. I wanted to get the blurred look of the background, but her to be in focus. And so you need to manipulate it so you can have a very slow shutter speed, pan across while she's running, and take the shot. And when you do that, the instant you take the shot, she's going to be in focus, and everything
else
is going to be
blurred.
blurred.
That's right.
Yeah. So there are different techniques, different learnings that you have that where you can do that. And the key is being able to repeat that again. So if you get lucky and you do it once, that's great. But when you're in a similar situation, are you able to take those things you learned and then do it over again?